This video is a lot different than previous videos I've posted. Trying to post the good side of running a business, and this one is going to be kind of the mental downside of running a business. I'm kind of wrestling with two different sides of my business right now, where I'm getting very excited about one part and discouraged on another part. And that's primarily because of how strong my website started when I launched it back in April of 2025. My very first month, I had about $16,200 in sales. My second month was just over $16,000 in sales. And it was just such a strong start that I thought, man, we're going to just keep snowballing this thing. And for the first 3 or so months, it was a good jump start into the business, and I kind of thought it was going to keep going. But what ended up happening was, after about the third month in, I realized that I was going to be going through a job change, and I really started focusing on getting ramped up and ready for my new job, going back into the finance industry. In my 2025 recap, I do a lot more detail, but essentially I worked in finance for a little over a decade, took a year and a half off to pursue a business ownership opportunity, and it didn't work out like I had hoped. So now I'm back in the finance world. Over that period of transition, getting back into the finance world, I neglected to do really anything on my website with social media. I barely posted anything. I was really focused on getting ramped up at my new job. And when I would come home from work, I would just kind of hang out and play games or whatever else, just not really doing anything on the business, because I felt like I just kind of needed a little bit of a mental break after 9 hours of nonstop mental going through financial planning, portfolio management, all that stuff for our clients. And it was just a lot different world going from working at a card shop to back in the finance world. And it just took my brain, I guess, a little time to get back into the swing of things and feel like when I got home, I didn't need to just recharge for a while. I guess I haven't really felt that before in my business or work career, where I have a tendency to kind of hyper focus on things, and my wife accuses me of, I get hyper focused on something and I work really hard on it for a few weeks or a few months. I wasn't feeling that I was quitting because I lost interest. I just felt like I was putting so much focus on the new job that's where all my attention was. And it just kind of exhausted me during the day. By the time I got home, I didn't feel like coming downstairs, recording videos, doing really anything other than packing orders that came in. As the months went on, eventually I was only getting about $3,000, $2,000 of sales per month on average for, about the July through November time period. Then I had a little bit of actually a terrible month in November. I had a $700 revenue month on my website in November. December spiked up back into the almost $3,000 range, which, it looks good compared to the November numbers, but when you look back at my first 2 months, pretty pitiful still. And then we get to the end of the holiday season, and I made a conscious decision to kind of turn my focus back on the business, start posting videos as regularly as I can again, and just trying to ramp up sales without having to pay for ads. Early on, I was paying a little bit for ads for my website, and that's probably partly why I had as much revenue as I did, but I never really spent that much on the ads. So I don't really think that had a big difference in my sales. But what I was doing previously was I was posting on Instagram at the beginning of my business every single day, 1 to 2, sometimes 3 videos every day. And I only posted to Instagram, didn't do anything on YouTube or anywhere else really. It was just Instagram. And then, when you post to Instagram, it ports over to Facebook Reels as well. But when I started to refocus and get back in the business, I decided, YouTube's probably where I actually need to be focusing more of my attention. So most of the time when I'm recording videos, they're going to YouTube, and I'm not posting to Instagram as often. But I just feel like I don't want to burn myself out. Like, I could make time to do both, but the biggest concern is what I just mentioned, burnout. I don't want to be focusing on, I got to get a YouTube video out, I got to get Instagram video out every day. I think switching over my focus from Instagram to YouTube in the long run is going to be the better decision for my business, but I'm just feeling a little discouraged still because my singles sales are doing really well on my collections that I buy on eBay and a little bit TCG Player. But if you saw my previous videos, I pretty much sell everything on eBay now or at card shows, and those sales are going phenomenally. So I get really excited about how well and how fast cards are selling for me on eBay. But even though that's fun for me and I enjoy doing it, and I do that because of how fun it is for me, going to shows, selling on eBay, things like that. But it's not as scalable. It's not as easily scalable as, you know, going online, talking to my suppliers and saying, hey, send me 20 boxes, and then they sell when I put them online. That being said, as I'm going through this transition of switching my focus from Instagram to YouTube, even though I'm really focusing on trying to get out videos frequently, my sales have remained relatively low on my website. And I'm starting to feel like, am I making the right decision by focusing on YouTube? Because I'm only at, 700 or so subscribers. It's very slowly rising. And I know I'm probably making the right decision by focusing on YouTube. But like I said, it's just sometimes lately, even though for the past month and a half, I've really been focusing on getting content out, just to not see the progress that I was hoping to see, both on the YouTube side and on the website sales side. It's starting to get to the point where I start to second guess and question, essentially. So I do appreciate those of you who go to my website and make purchases. I have a few of you that go to my website very regularly and buy very regularly. And it means a lot to me that you guys keep coming back and putting in orders. And a lot of times they're not small orders. My last order was someone who every single time they order, it's $200 to $300, sometimes a little bit more. And, I really appreciate that. And for them, it's usually kind of a 50-50 split between Japanese and English sets. So it's good for me because not having a distributor, it's really hard for me to keep English in stock. So when I have a customer come and buy Japanese sets, it's really, really good for me just knowing that, hey, when I sell through stuff, I can find it when I need it. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just kind of talking through a lot of stuff. I'm going through two mental states right now of kind of euphoria on how incredible the eBay sales have been since I made that change, but also, trying to not get too discouraged on the website side because I don't want to rely on ads to drive sales because my margins are already small enough. I don't want to make them any smaller, and a lot of times those conversion rates aren't that great. Basically what I'm saying is, mentally, I'm kind of bipolar right now on the business side of things between eBay and the website. I'm trying to stay as positive as I can, but this is all part of running a business, managing a business. You go through some highs and lows. We're definitely going through a little bit of a low point on the website side of things. And if my eBay sales weren't going as great as they are, I'd be a lot more discouraged and starting to question if I'm doing things the right way or not. But anyways, I'm not going anywhere. I'm in this for the long haul, despite the discouragement and the rough patch we're going through on the website. I ain't going anywhere. This is going to be my baby for a long, long time. And I just hope you guys continue to come in and support me, both on watching the video side and going to the website and supporting me by purchasing from me. So anyways, I don't really have anything else to talk about. I didn't really know what I was going to talk about. I just hit record and started talking. So thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time. God bless.